Won't it be nice to receive this as happy mail? When you open it, there are slotted pockets that hold various treasures. Of course, this accordion file folder can be used for organization. I will be using these to hold the fussy cuts while I'm cutting it before I line them up neatly into my ephemera folder. Hi, Sherls here. Thank you for stopping by on my channel. Welcome or welcome back. In this tutorial, I will show you how to make this accordion file folder in an easy way. For this project, I will be using the Grungy Essentials Digital by RachandBellaCrafts. This digital comes in 3 colors: teal, pink, and neutral. They are very versatile digital. You can use them in most themes. I'm going to make an accordion file folder with 3 pockets. So I will need 3 sheets of paper for the pockets, 1 sheet for the spine, and another 2 sheets to complete the file folder. So total, I will be using 6 sheets of paper. I printed the Grungy Essential Teal in 28 pounds or 105 GSM copy paper. If you have a thicker paper, use it. It will make your accordion file folder stronger. I will also be using a snack box and a tab template I have as freebie in my coffee. As of the time I record this video, I only have tabs, tickets, and stamps in the Junk Journal Essentials Template freebie. In the freebie, you will get a big size and smaller ones like 70 to 75% smaller. My friends gave me more ideas to add into this freebie template. I didn't have time to add it into the freebie when I made this video. I will be adding them in future and I will make a post about it so you know. Currently, I also have a set of tag templates freebie. I will put the link to the template freebies and the Grungy Essentials Digital in the description box. You can print the big size into smaller size using your printer. If you do not know how, I have a tutorial showing you how to print your digital in larger or smaller size without a third-party program. I will put the tutorial link in the description box. I will be using the usual crafting tool: paper trimmer, scissors, and glue. I will also be using a scoring board for this project. If you have a tab punch or Wear Memory Keeper envelope punch board, you can use them instead of using the tab template. Before we start, I want to emphasize that precision is very important in this project. You want every fold to be neat and aligned. This is what happens when your fold isn't aligned properly. This edge is very messy. Same with this edge. Some gaps are wider than the other. Because I printed my digital only on one side, you can see a wide edge when my fold isn't aligned. Using the scoring board, score the paper into half widthwise. Again, I will be making 3 pockets accordion file folder. That means I need to fold 3 sheets of paper into half. You don't have to use a scoring board for this step, but I like to use it to make sure that my fold is crisp. When folding this, I like to press the paper against the corner of the scoring board. This corner is perfect to help make sure that I fold the paper neatly. Then, using the bone folder, press the fold. Repeat for the remaining papers. Each of these pockets will be joined together with 2 spines. I use half an inch to join the pocket with the previous one and another half inches to join with the next one. For the accordion part, I use half inches. So total half inches for the to join the previous one, half inches to join the next one, and half inches for the accordion. So I need 1.5 inches spine for each pocket. And for 3 pockets, I will need 3 times 1.5. It means 4.5 inches spine. If you are using a metric system, you can use like 1 centimeter to join the pocket with the previous one, 1 centimeter to join to the next one, and 1 centimeter for the accordion. So you will need total 3 centimeter for each pocket. For the height, I need a quarter or half centimeter shorter than my pocket. I use US letter size paper. The length of this paper is 11 inches and half of it is 5.5 inches. That means my spine shall be 5.5 inches minus 1.25, like 5.25 inches. This calculation shows that I need 2 sheets of 4.5 by 5.25 inches paper for the spine. These are my spine pieces. For each pocket, we have 1.5 inches spine, and we are going to score half inches away, and then quarter inches away, and we'll leave quarter inches gap, and the last one is half an inches gap. If you are using a metric system, you will have 3 centimeter, and your scoring will be 1 centimeter gap, and then half centimeter gap, another half centimeter gap, and then 1 centimeter. So this basically is the scoring guide for each of the pocket piece spine. Unlike the pocket pieces, I score the spine with the right face facing down. You will see in a moment the reason. And using my scoring board, I will score like half an inches gap, and then quarter inches, half an inches. So basically this guide here, another half inches, quarter inches away, quarter inches gap, and half inches gap, and repeat for the next pieces, and repeat for the next spine piece. Now is the fun part, folding the spine. The following folding sequence is the one that works for me to make sure that each fold is aligned. First, I fold the first score mark into a mountain with the wrong side facing each other. I will be using my bone folder to make sure that my fold is crisp. Here you see, when you score your paper with the scoring board, you will have grooves. On the side that facing up, it will be a folly, and on the other side, the groove is making mountains. I personally found my fold looks neater when I fold my paper following the dip of the groove. When the groove is a folly, for me, the paper calls to be folded like this. This is why I score the pocket pieces with the correct side facing up, and I score the spine with the correct side facing down. Then I skip the next score mark and fold the one after it into a mountain. Again, I'm making sure that the edge is aligned, and sometimes I use my scoring board, the wall of the scoring board, as my helper to make sure that it is aligned. I have these two fold here, and I skip the accordion part. And now I'm going to align this fold and this fold to fold the accordion. It's like this. Align and make sure that it is neat, because again, precision is important in this project. I will be using my scoring board again as a helper to make sure that it is properly aligned and score. With this way of folding, you don't really need to make this 1/4 inch score mark, but I still do it. Why? Because it will make sure that the fold look neat, and I don't really care much about this fold. The groove is a folly, and I fold it against the folly, and that's totally fine with me, because this accordion can be fold in, or in all of my examples here I fold it out. So I'm going to continue with the next fold on the, I skip this one and I fold the next one into a mountain. Again, use my scoring board to help, and then this, the previous 1/2 inches and the new one, I'm going to make them face each other like this, using my scoring board as a helper again. Make sure that it is neatly aligned. It's a little bit crooked, and use my bone folder to press it. And again, skip the next score mark, fold the next one into a mountain. That's pretty much how I fold my spine piece. Fold the first score mark, skip the next one, and fold the one after it, then use the 2 folds as a helper to fold the one that I skipped. So this is the final result of my spine. When I stack it like this, you see that it's not perfect. There is a gap here and here, but this is neat enough for me. Basically, that's the way I fold my spine. Fold the first one, skip the next one, and then fold the one after it, and then use these 2 folds as a helper to fold the middle one. This step might be confusing, so I'm going to repeat this with the second spine piece. These are my folded spine pieces. Now I'm going to glue the 2.5 inches fold that's facing each other, meaning this one and this one. These are how my spine pieces looks after I glued the 1/2 inches together. Now I'm going to put this aside and work on the snack boxes to cover the file folder. The last step we need to do before assembling the accordion file folder is cutting the snack box or cardboard into the front and the back cover of the accordion file folder. Don't use a very thick cardboard or snack box, because when we have a very bulky items in our file folder pocket, we want the front cover and the back cover to be able to bend like this. Cut the snack box or cardboard into the size of your folded pocket piece. So my folded pocket piece is 8.5 by 5.5. I already cut one piece for the front cover. It's the same size as my pocket, and I will need to cut the second piece for the back. I cut my second front piece and wrap one with a paper from the Grungy Essentials Neutral. If you want to make an accordion file folder without a cover like this one, cover the second piece with a pretty paper. I believe we all know how to do that, so I won't show you how I wrap my snack box. Instead, I will show you how I make the cover for this accordion file folder. To make this cover flap, I will also be using a tie fact. This tie fact isn't crucial, but it will add strength to the cover. I will also be using an additional 1/2 sheet of paper lengthwise and another 1/2 sheet widthwise. I cut the tie fact 8.5 inches wide and 5 3/4 inches tall. Now I'm going to join this with the snack box. I like to use at least 1/2 inches or 1 centimeter overlap to join my pieces. First, I will put a strip of 1/2 inches double-sided tape on one long edge of the snack box. Then I am applying liquid glue on top of it. This glue will add strength to the bond, also to give me more time to adjust my tie fact position. Again, I'm using my scoring board to help me position the tie fact so it is properly aligned. I accidentally cut my tie fact slightly wider than I needed, and I'm totally fine with it because I will be covering this later, so it won't be noticeable. Now I'm going to put this piece aside to dry while working on the piece of paper to wrap this cover flap. For the full sheet of paper, I cut 1 inch off the long side, so now this paper is 8.5 inches by 10 inches. The additional 1/2 sheet is 4 1/4 inches by 10 inches. I will overlap these two sheets to make a bigger sheet. Since I already have my scoring board out, I will be using it to ensure my flap is straight. I cut my paper 1.5 inches wider than necessary. This will give me 3 1/4 inches extra on all sides. So I will score 3 4 inches in from all sides. Now I'm going to taper the square here. Yeah, I printed this digital on the scrap paper, which was my children's worksheets. yeah, since they all go to school, we have a lot of this worksheet. I keep some, but yeah, I don't really need to keep all of them. And some of them goes into my daughter's crafting paper, and some I printed digital on one side and use it on a project where I won't be seeing the other side. Just like in this project to wrap the cover. I'm going to apply glue on this side. So here, the fabric is very thin. It barely has any thickness, and the cover has thickness. And I want the cover on the outside look smooth one line. So this will be the side that I will be gluing onto the wrap. Just going to use my glue stick to apply glue on the wider area, and then use my liquid glue to put glue on the edges, just to make sure that every edge is properly glued on the paper. And apply glue generously. Try not to leave any space, otherwise you will see bubble after you wrap it and it might bother you. And I'm going to use the fold that I made with my scoring board to help position the paper, or help position the cover on the paper. And use my bone folder, just making sure it is straight. Yes, use my bone folder to properly adhere this cover on the paper. Just remember that I have this big thing, will help me faster. I'm trying to smoothen this because this fabric that I'm using was scrap or junk from a package I received from someone, so it's wrinkly and it's not smooth. Now I'm going to glue these sides. And for this side, I will be gluing following the fold line. So even if I fold my fabric a little bit in, that's fine. And actually it will add strength to the edge of the cover. Again, because the fabric is very thin, it doesn't have any thickness. It's not easy, in my opinion, to make sure that we fold this excess paper straight. And that's why I score it with my scoring board. And on this one, I like to press my bone folder against the thickness of the paper of the snack box like this, so it will look neat. When you fold it, it doesn't have any crease on it. So, and on the other side, I'm just going to make sure there's no bubble. So there's a little bit bubble here. Well, I might cover it with lace or something. And now it's the time for this half piece to be glued here. It's perfectly the same size as the cover, and if you like, just like this cover, I cut this like 1/4 inches shorter, so I have gap around 3 edges. So it's up to you, but for me, for this one, I will just be gluing it like this. Again, I'm using my bone folder to press the paper against the thickness of the snack box, so it will look neat. Yeah. And this cover flap is done. I will let it dry, and later if I still have some edges that's not properly glued, I will add another adhesive around it. If you follow along this tutorial, by now you should have 2 spine or hinge pieces, 3 pocket pieces, a front piece, and cover piece. I also already cut my tabs, 3 tabs, 1 for each pocket. To assemble this, we are going to start with a hinge or spin piece. Apply adhesive on the first section within the first fold, before the first fold. Then take one of the pocket piece and adhere this hinge on the first pocket page. Going to align the top with the hinge like this, and I like to use my scoring board to help making sure that it is aligned. I'm just going to crease it so to make sure that it is adhered properly. So we already glued the first pocket into the hinge, and now remember, this is the accordion piece. I like to keep it facing out, so I just fold it the other direction like this and close the pocket and apply glue on the 1/2 inch space here and align it with the pocket piece. So basically I just fold the accordion in half following the fold line and do something like this. I want to make sure that my spine and my pocket is aligned. This part, this spine and the pocket, the top should be aligned. Just going to do something like this. Now preparing the second piece, apply adhesive again in this half inch space, or 1 centimeter if you are using metric system, or if you prefer it 3/4 or 1.5 centimeter, it's up to you. This is the measurement that I'm using, but you don't have to use the same measurement. So my heart is facing this way. I just want to make sure that every piece is having the same direction, but it's kind of sideways, so actually it doesn't really matter. So this one is a little bit tricky because I want the corner of this pocket, the first pocket, to be aligned with the second one. So again, using my scoring board as a helper like this and close it. And done. Now the first and the second pocket kind of attach, folding the accordion out, and we don't want to glue on the pretty side. Applying glue on the 1/2 inches gap. I'm just going to keep it on my scoring board just to make sure that it is aligned and not tilted or crooked as I glue the hinge on the pocket. This, applying glue again on the 1/2 inches gap here, and now is the last pocket. Somehow this hinge is kind of tilted a little bit, but it's already dried. So yeah, even though I've been taking very carefully, even though I'm trying to do this very carefully, sometimes there is still imperfection, and that's totally fine. It's better a little bit of imperfection than a lot of imperfection, like just like my first prototype. And the last one, and that's it. So as you can see here, the pockets are joined together, but we still have this wide opening, and that's what we are going to do next. We are going to glue the second hinge on the other side, but before that, if you like me, you like to hide the bottom of tab, you need to glue it now. So first, let's see. Oops, this one is facing the other direction. That's fine. I forget to check it. So I'm going to glue this so the bottom of the tab is not showing. If you don't mind the bottom of the tab showing, then you can glue this after you put the accordion, after you put together the file folder accordion. After you put together the accordion file folder. So that's my first one. And for the last one, let me see. So something like that. So aligning this again because it ran away, and glue it like this. So I don't glue the tab on top of the hinge because this will adhere to the next pocket. Now I have my first tab and second tab. Actually, I did it wrong. The first tab should be on the front. Oops, mistake happened. Because this is going to be in the middle, you won't be able to see the tear. Should be like this and this. That's better. And now is the third tab. So I like to glue the first and the last one, and then with using the position of the first and the last, I can position this perfectly in the center. It's not really perfect actually because I am just eyeballing it. If you want this to be exactly perfect symmetric, then use your ruler and measure it. But for me, eyeballing it is good enough. Yeah, that's correct. My first, my second, and my third. So now I can start gluing the hinge. Glue the half space, the half inches gap, and align it on the first pocket. Basically the hinge part will be the same with the other side, but we need to do one extra step for this, like this, just making sure it is properly adhered. And going to fold my accordion cassette out so I don't accidentally glue it. And now we are going to apply adhesive all over this pocket, the back of the pocket. And this is the reason why I printed only on one side. You won't be able to see it. Well, you kind of can see the bottom. I can see it white, and I don't mind it. So if you mind it, maybe you want to print it on the double side and kind of waste your ink. Well, it's up to you. It will be your project, not mine. And this is the way I like to do it. The way I like to do it might not the way that you like to do it. Going to apply liquid adhesive on the edges because I always feel that my glue stick cannot really reach the edge of the paper properly. And one thing that I need to point out, this cassette is like a 1/4 inch shorter than the pocket piece. Why? Because I wanted to be able to expand a little bit, and therefore I'm going to leave around a 1/4 inch gap here. So I'm not going to apply adhesive on this first, on the 1/4 inch from the fold line. I am just eyeballing it If you want it to be precise, then feel free to measure it and make a mark with your ruler and pencil. But for me, I think this is fine. I'm afraid that my glue is dried here, so I'm just going to reapplying it. Just making sure that I apply properly, otherwise there might be bubbles in between the pocket, which we might not like. And before I forget, I'm going to apply adhesive here. So close these pockets shut, and adhesive on this side as well. And just going to use my scoring board to make sure the bottom is aligned like this. Let's see. Yep. Now I'm just going to make sure that this two pocket is adhered properly. Just going to use my big spatula. Just do it gently like this to make sure the first pocket and the second pocket, they are properly and strongly bonded. Okay, I think that's good enough. Yep, nice. And now just fold this accordion cassette out. Let me just fold the next one as well, and apply adhesive on this. I think this might be easier. Just apply the adhesive on the hinge first and adhere it to the pocket, like, oops, just make sure. Come on, accordion, you need to fold out, don't fold in. Yep, like that. Just make sure it's glued properly. And this one I can just leave it out for now. There's a little bit gap here that I miss. And now, because the liquid adhesive dries longer than the glue stick, I'm going to apply the liquid adhesive first, making sure going all to the edge and on top of this half-inch spine as well. But yeah, it's not properly aligned. There's a tiny bit gap between the spine and the pocket, like this one here. Very tiny. It's not really noticeable, so it's okay. Again, it's not going to be completely perfect because this is handmade. In my opinion, if you make something handmade, it should not 100% perfect. The imperfection is the one that states that it is handmade. You can say that it is my excuse for my imperfection, but that's what I feel, and I'm totally fine with that imperfection, slight imperfection, because it's still much better than my prototype. Okay, and now using my scoring board again, and yep, already applied glue there, making sure that it is against the scoring board wall. Give the paper a nice massage so it will adhere properly. Now you can admire it's properly bond. And the last one, so I think I'm still going to need this glue stick. So the last one is very easy. Just put glue on the last tab and adhere it. Yeah, because the previous one is not properly aligned. My next pocket is also has a little bit gap here. It's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. Now this is done. So how I want this to flip, I want to open like this. That means this will be my front and this will be my back. So my front piece, okay, and now aligning this on the front. So this is my front, yes. Interesting. My front piece is slightly narrower than my pocket, and it's fine. Here, there's a tiny bit gap here and a tiny bit gap there. That's okay. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to cry over it because it still looks so beautiful. I love this butterfly in a neutral, the Grungy Essentials pack. Just love it. And I'm glad that I center it. So it looks so nice. And now before we adhere the back and the cover, let's trim this cover so it will fold like this nicely. So how do we need to trim it? Just like this. I'm using my big spatula to like fold it, or if you don't have it, and maybe it will be easier for you if you have like your glue stick, just do something like this. Because this is much longer, let's see if I have something longer that I can use. How about this empty water bottle? So this is how we are training our paper to fold, so it won't crack when we use it on the file folder. I think that's good enough. And now you can apply adhesive. Remember, we just want to apply adhesive on this back cover. So this, the flap section, don't apply adhesive on it. And also remember that I push my bone folder against the thickness of the snack box. It making this line, and it helped cut me where to it helps showing me where is the edge of the back cover. And put and adhere this one on the file folder. Center it, make sure it's aligned. I'm using my scoring board again to help making sure that it is adhere properly and aligned. I want to cover this with laces, especially to cover where I joined this two paper. I decorated the flap with pretty laces, and now you're barely able to see where I joined these two sheets of paper. I intentionally used this transparent lace so you can kind of see the pretty paper behind it. Now, to make this kind of closure, what I did was using 1 inch of circle. I don't have 1 inch circle punch, so I made a lot of circles with vintage wallpaper that I have. I'll be putting this for freebie, and I'll put the link on the description box. I printed this and I packed this with the snack box scrap to make it thicker. I also punched a couple small circle. This is the smallest circle punch that I have, and I glued 2 of the small circle together like this, and it becomes something a little bit thicker, and this will be enough gap to hold my twine in it like this. After I cut this, bake it, I glued this small circle on the center of this 1-inch circle, so it will be something like this. So that's how I made this circle thing. If you have bread, then you can use it instead of this trick, but I don't have a lot of bread and this works for me, so that's what I use. So put glue, put the twine on top of it, and I will apply a generous amount of glue because I'm going to glue this on top of my list. So I will let this dry, and when it's dry, this accordion file folder will be ready to use. It's not hard to make this file folder. You can fill this with goodies and send it as a happy mail, or you can keep it and use it to organize your stash. I hope you tried this, and if you do, please share it with me. And if you have any question, feel free to send me message in any of my social media. Happy crafting! Bye!